perennial flooding in parts of the country. The Asantehene also advocated punitive measures against persons caught blatantly disposing garbage into drains or who build into waterways. Otumfuo Setutu gave the advice at the Minchia Palace in Kumasi when the Minister for Works and Housing, Mr. Kojo Ponkroma, called on him.
Mr. Kojo Ponkroma was undertaking his first working visits to the Ashanti region upon his assumption of duty as the new Minister for Works and Housing. In his interaction with the minister, the Asantehene held serious reservations about what has become perennial flooding in parts of Ghana, particularly the Greater Accra region and the Greater Kumasi metropolitan area. Otumfuo Setutu urged the government to apply the laws against building in waterways as well as blatant disposal of refuse into drains by some individuals, two issues identified to be major contributors to the flooding challenges. The Minister for Works and Housing, Mr. Kojo Ponkroma, noted that government is working hard to close the gap of 1.8 million housing deficit to relieve Ghanaians of their accommodation needs.
The government is keen on quickening efforts to help reduce the housing deficit by providing a lot of affordable housing programs, both in Accra and in the Ashanti region. Here as well, we're grateful to Otumfuo for the 200 acres that he's given us. What I have asked Ms. Appiah and the management of state housing to do is to prepare and mobilize to site. There will be one of the developers who will be working here on the site. So they have to start preparing to move to site. And I've asked them to do well to come to site by the end of May.
Accompanied by some officials of agencies of the ministry, the Works and Housing Minister inspected ongoing construction of drainage systems in parts of the Ashanti region, including those at Bantama and Busheng in the Kumasi metropolitan area. Mr. Ponkroma visited Didisua in the Busumtri district to inspect the 200-acre land given to the State Housing Company by the Asantehene for a national housing project. Speaking to the media, the managing director of the State Housing Company, Mr. Kwabena Appiah, assured of his organization's commitment towards addressing the housing challenges in the country.
The state has secured a warrant for the arrest of recently convicted former chief executive of Microfinance and Small Loan Center Maslock, Ms. Sedina Tamaklo Otieno, to serve a prison sentence. A state attorney, Yvonne Yachi Adomako, moving an ex parte motion for the issuance of the arrest warrant, told the High Court in Accra that Ms. Tamaklo Otieno, a fugitive, was convicted on April 16 on all 78 charges to serve a 10-year prison term in hard labor.
Sedina Christine Tamaklo Otieno was convicted on charges including causing financial loss to the state, stealing, conspiracy to steal, money laundering, improper payment of public funds, causing loss to public property in contravention of public procurement law. Yvonne Yachi Adomako of the Attorney General's office said the state has demonstrated sufficient grounds to issue the warrant against the fugitive. Sedina Christine Tamaklo Otieno and Daniel Axim, also a former head of operations of Maslock, were convicted and sentenced to prison terms and were also fined various sums of money. Madam Tamaklo Otieno was tried in absentia after absconding to the U.S. in July 2021 during the trial, supposedly on medical grounds. The trial judge, Justice Ifiasewa Asaribotri, also ordered the prosecution to initiate for future proceedings against the convicts to recover all monies to the state. Mr. Axim is serving a 5-year prison term in hard labor.
A high court in Accra has granted a former chief executive officer of the Public Procurement Authority, Mr. Ejenim Boateng Ejei, bail in the sum of 4 million Ghana cedis with two sureties to be justified with landed property. This follows fresh corruption charges leveled against Mr. Boateng Ejei by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Mr. Boateng Ejei was also ordered to produce every passport he has to the registrar of the court.
Other bail conditions set for the release of Mr. Ejenim Boateng Ejei are that the registrar of the court confirms with the relevant authorities the authenticity of the document of the sureties, whilst the sureties are also to produce copies of their Ghana card to the court's registry. The court further directed the registry to confirm the relevant passport and the existence of any other passport in the name of Mr. Boateng Ejei. A copy of the bail bond is to be given to the prosecution for easy access. The facts of the fresh case are that the Office of the Special Prosecution received a letter signed by his secretary to the President referring allegations of corruption against the former CEO of the Public Procurement Authority, Mr. Ejenim Boateng Ejei. The facts state that the referral was on the back of and based on an audio-visual documentary titled Contract for Sale, an investigative journalistic piece conducted by Manasseh Azuri Awuni and aired by the Multimedia Group. According to the fact, evidence established that Mr. Ejenim Boateng Ejei was at all material times the chief executive of the Public Procurement Authority, a member of the governing board of Public Procurement Authority, and a member of the due diligence unit of the Public Procurement Authority. He and another person allegedly incorporated Talent Discovery Limited in Ghana as a company limited by shares on 19th June 2017, 3 months after the accused was appointed chief executive of the Public Procurement Authority. Per the fact, at all material times, the accused was the majority shareholder and a director of Talent Discovery Limited. It is alleged that during his tenure as the chief executive, a member of the governing board and a member of the due diligence unit of the Public Procurement Authority, he participated in several restricted tenders in respect of public works contracts awarded by the Ministry of Works and Housing, Ministry of Education, and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The accused, in his capacity as the chief executive and holding other positions at PPA, allegedly conducted the procurement processes in respect of tenders in which his company, Talent Discovery Limited, was shortlisted, and he actively participated in the due diligence and decision-making processes leading to the selection of the company as the contractor in respect of the tenders, without disclosing his personal interest as the majority shareholder and a director of the company. The accused also used his positions in respect of 2 Ministry of Education contracts in favour of Talent Discovery Limited, leading to the improper award of the contracts to Talent Discovery Limited. The facts indicate that Mr. Boateng Ejei benefited personally through the use of public office for benefit, through the use of public office for profit, and influencing the public procurement process to obtain unfair advantage. The court, presided over by Justice Marie-Louise Simons, has directed prosecution to file all disclosures and served on the accused person. The case has been adjourned to May 14 at 8 a.m.
Just as tiny droplets of water slowly fill a bucket, the growth of small businesses fill the Ghanaian economy, says Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. And in recognition of the job creation potential and growth from SMEs in Ghana, President Akufo-Addo will, in next month, launch an initiative aimed at supporting 20,000 SMEs across the country.
Big companies usually get a lot of attention when it comes to creating jobs, but small businesses employ more people and are more resilient when times get tough. Studies done by the World Bank shows that without SMEs, the Ghanaian economy and workforce would be a pretty wild landscape to imagine. Not only do small businesses provide more jobs, they also bring careers and opportunities. Successful startups put money back into their local communities through paychecks and taxes, which can support the creation of new small businesses and improve local public services. Mindful of this, the Minister for Finance, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, says despite the huge potential of SMEs in Ghana, the ecosystem faces financing and marketing challenges.
My focus really is on SMEs. SMEs constitute about 90% of manufacturing, and they contribute between 70 to 80% to growth of our economy. But the challenges in the SME ecosystem, number one is financing, and number two is access to market. So my focus is how do we pool resources together to target SMEs so we can address the financing problem, and then also provide market for them.
The Finance Minister added that the government will in next month roll out a program that will target SMEs because they draw innovation, attracting talent that brings invention and new solutions to old ways of doing business.
Very soon, His Excellency the President will launch the program, and then we hope that between now and the end of the year, we can target 20,000 SMEs across the country.
Analysts say the more government puts money back into the main drivers of Ghanaian economy and equip them with skills and look to them to reduce the unemployment in the country, the more they will be encouraged to keep the Ghanaian dream of becoming a middle-income country alive.
The government has pledged its commitment to ensure that commodity trading is done in a more structured manner. Speaking at a forum in Accra, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Mr. Brian Champon, predicted that the Ghana Commodity Exchange may soon be at par with Cocoa Board with regards to the structured sale of commodities such as grains.
We've launched an input credit system for all Ghanaians, an input credit system. So you have land, you see an aggregator, you get your seeds, you get your AMSEC, which is machinery services, and you get your inputs, other inputs as in fertilizer, and then you can engage this with our extension officers. If we give you inputs worth 1,000 Ghana cedis, at the end of the crop cycle, which is about 3-4 months, we will come and recover that 1,000 Ghana cedis in produce. Now, this produce will then be stored in a warehouse for Ghana Commodity Exchange to trade. After the trading, the input dealers that provided us those items will then be paid. So this is a guaranteed system cycle that we have, and Ghana Commodity Exchange is going to be the organization that is going to trade all the grains in this country. Probably maybe 10 times bigger than Cocoa Board in future, the way I see it. This is to further signify to all of us that the government is very keen on ensuring that the Ghana commodity trading is done in a structured manner. The GCX platform will ensure that the grains recovered are stored properly to reduce post-harvest losses, that the grains are sold at the right price through the price discovery mechanism, and buyers are given good quality and the right quantity for the grains that they purchase.
The executive of the Ghana Commodity Exchange has indicated that over the next 5 years, the exchange would scale up from 50,000 to 5 million metric tons. She added that the exchange would build on its collaborations with financial institutions and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to ensure that commodities are sold in the most structured way.
Earlier this year, the exchange embarked on a knowledge exchange program with counterparts in India and the Dubai Gold and Commodities Exchange, laying the groundwork for the imminent launch of derivatives trading. The launch of derivatives on our platform will also see the listing of different types of commodities to include metals and minerals. This strategic endeavor exemplifies our proactive stance towards future growth and sustainability, informed by invaluable insights garnered from global best practices. As we chart the course for the future, sustainability remains a central tenet of our mission. Over the next 5 years, we aspire to exponentially increase trade volumes, moving from the 50,000 to 500,000 and then subsequently scaling up to 5 million metric tons. However, this expansion must be underpinned by a steadfast commitment to ensuring a resilient ecosystem that preserves the well-being of our planet and future generations.
Government intends to restructure the debt owed to the independent power producers, IPPs, to address the country's energy sector's financial challenges. Speaking at a press briefing to wrap up Ghana's activities at the just-ended IMF and World Bank Group's spring meetings in the United States, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam emphasized the need to address the country's energy sector's financial challenges, which have triggered recent power outages across the country.
The debts accumulated as a result of excess capacity continues to be on our books. And we need to pay in addition to the legacy debts. As a result of this, we have been negotiating with the IPPs to restructure the debts. And once we conclude the negotiation, the debt over, the shortfall will reduce. I can tell you that in the next 1 month, we should be signing off with the IPPs on the restructuring of our debts. And once the shortfalls are reduced, we should be working towards bringing the sector into financial sustainability in line with the energy sector recovery program.
The Ghana Electrical Contractors Association has condemned the arrest of the Ashanti East Regional General Manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, Mr. Mark Wiafe, who was performing his lawful duty. Mr. Wiafe is currently being investigated by the Ghana Police Service after the Ashanti Regional Minister, Mr. Simon Osemensa, ordered his arrest following the disconnection of the Kumasi Technical University by an ECG task force. According to the minister, the Regional General Manager defied his directive to restore power to the school.
Long ago, Keka made a publication saying that ECG really does not need any special tariff increment. What they needed was to improve their collection. There are so many people who are using electricity and not paying. Some are actually willing to pay, except that the meters that they are using in good condition. So ECG is not able to collect enough. Following that, ECG upped their game and went to disconnect Technical University. Unfortunately, following that, we heard that the regional minister has sanctioned the arrest of the general manager for doing his lawful duty. And we thought that we cannot just look on for such behavior to happen. We are in a country of law. If for any reason the person has done something that is against the law, let us use the due process and not someone trying to show somebody where power lies. It's unacceptable. And so we are solidarizing and encouraging ECG to go all out and collect as much as they can. They shouldn't be cowed into silence. They shouldn't be afraid of anything. We are behind them. The nation is behind them. We are calling on the president to bring the regional minister and any person who has that kind of intention to order.
Officials at the Project Management Institute, PMI Ghana, have toured ECG's KASWA bulk supply point BSP project site for first-hand information on the operations of the plant. The project site aims at assisting GRIDCO and ECG to significantly reduce transmission and distribution system losses and improve upon the operational and financial performance.
The KASWA Power Bulk Supply Point BSP project falls under the Ghana Power Compact Program's ECG financial and operational turnaround activity. The project is meant to facilitate ECG's distribution networks and reduce technical, commercial and collection losses, thereby improving the quality of service delivered to consumers and communities in the southern part of Ghana. To familiarize themselves with ongoing activities at the the project site, the Project Management Institute PMI Ghana paid a working visit to the site. The 435 MVA gas-insulated switchgear substation is the second largest bulk supply point BSP in Ghana.
We've learned a lot from how the project was managed. The various stakeholder management, the various challenges that they experience and all that is something that we want our members to practically have a feel. There's been a lot of revelation as to what happened, the various stakeholder engagement that happened, and everything from conception to completion.
The General Manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Mr. Phyllis Kwesi Agbaglo, said the KASWA BSP has improved power reliability to over 240,000 consumers in KASWA, Ninyano, Senyabreku and adjoining communities.
This project has improved the life of over 250,000 customers. They've gotten their voltage, the LV voltage that you have in the house, they've gotten to be improved. It means that the equipment will perform better, the losses will reduce. As the losses reduce, technical loss has gone down. We have saved money.
The $50 million KASWA BSP was funded by a grant from the United States government through the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC.
The National Road Safety Authority, NRSA, will soon engage political parties on a road safety code of conduct for party supporters and sympathizers in the run-up to the political campaign for the 2024 general election. The authority is also asking the various political parties to advise their supporters to wear crash helmets and abide by other road safety regulations during campaigns to prevent accidents and life-threatening injuries. The Upper West Regional Director of the authority, Mr. Mohammed Abdul Samad, disclosed this during an interaction with the media at WA. Here's a report by Swala Abdul Wahab.
Road accidents not only result in loss of lives and property, but also have a negative impact on the country's socio-economic development. By statistics from the National Road Safety Authority, the Upper West region in the first quarter of 2024 recorded 32 cases of road accidents as against 22 during the same period last year.
The figures, so that we don't report.
The Regional Director of the National Road Safety Authority, Mr. Mohammed Abdul Samad, said despite the rise in road traffic crashes, the number of persons killed reduced from 7 in 2023 to 6 in 2024. Mr. Abdul Samad said out of the 6 who died, 2 were pedestrian knockdown, a situation he described as worrying.
Despite the fact that we are not all that happy, we are happy for the fact that we have some reductions in the person's kill, which is the most important when you look at the parameters. Now, what we want to do, we have an action plan. We want to embark on intensive pedestrian safety campaign, that of old road usage, and particularly motorbike riders. We've realized that most of the cases that are involving deaths, realize that people crash, and then when you go, injury to the head. And the reason being that people ride without wearing crash helmets.
To reduce the incident of road traffic accidents, especially during the election year, the regional director said the authority will engage political parties on the need to abide by the political party's code of conduct on road safety.
We intend to call them when it gets to the climax and we realize that campaign is picked up. We discuss these issues with them. You know, the food for election is what? Human beings. If you lose one person, it means you are losing what? A voter. You're losing one vote. For that matter, we want to drum that into their ears. Let them understand.
Officials of the National Road Safety Authority, NRSA, acknowledged the support of key stakeholders, including the MTTD, the DVLA, municipal and district assemblies, and the media. Swala Abdul Wahab, GBC News. Wow.
Behind every successful surgery lies the anesthetist, but behind a successful anesthesia lie the anesthetist and God. Though they are the heart of surgery in the country, this group of professionals are crying for recognition and a good condition of service. At their regular knowledge-sharing meeting in Accra, the immediate past president of the Ghana Association of Certified Registered Anesthetists, Mr. Mumbai Jacob, appealed to government through the Ministry of Health to take a second look at the practice in the country to enhance the gains from professional anesthesia that remains vital to healthcare delivery.
Anesthesia is the administration of medication to allow medical procedures to be done without pain and in some cases without the patients being aware during the procedure, and anesthetics are advanced practice nurses who administer anesthesia for surgery or other medical procedures. Their responsibilities include resuscitation of the sick, injured, critically ill, newborns and patients in intensive care units. Though a vital aspect of the healthcare delivery chain, this group of professionals have over the years fought for recognition and release. They bemoan the lack of career progression, poor conditions of service, wrongful placements on the single spine salary scale, lack of a scheme of service, and regulatory challenges as affecting the practice. The Greater Accra Regional Chapter of the Ghana Association of Certified Registered Anesthetics met for its regular knowledge-sharing meeting in Accra. The meeting afforded the association the opportunity to take stock and inventory of its program of activities, reflect over their performance, identify their achievements, shortfalls, and to improve on their significant contribution to healthcare delivery in Ghana. During the meeting, it was estimated that only 1,200 certified registered anesthetics serve over 32 million people in Ghana, owing to the fact that over 30% of its members have left the country for greener pastures in 2023.
Mostly, it is the region, our region is the one having the maximum number of people who are living. So when it happens that way, we are overburdened. And when you are overburdened, there's so much pressure in the health system and the care of the patient too, so much pressure. It doesn't encourage better care.
The immediate past president of the Ghana Association of Certified Registered Anesthetics, Mr. Mumbai Jacob, appealed to government through the Ministry of Health to take a second look at the practice in the country to enhance the gains from professional anesthesia that remains vital to healthcare delivery.
And now to some foreign news. South Africa's African National Congress has lost a legal bid to stop the newly formed party Mkohutu Wezize MK from using the name and logo of ANC's former armed wing. The governing ANC had argued that MK, headed by ex-President Jacob Zuma, had breached trademark law, but the Durban High Court disagreed, allowing the use of the name, which translates as Spear of the Nation. Reports say the ruling is a significant victory for MK ahead of the 29th May general election. Mr. Zuma's supporters cheered and chanted in court